Types of VRAM. This is the part 2 video of this series. Now we will discuss about types of VRAM and understanding the memory bus and bandwidth. There are two types of VRAM that are used on most graphics cards today, GDDR or HBM. Both GDDR and HBM have undergone several changes over the years, with each new generation bringing improvements in areas like scaled-down node processing technology, memory bandwidth, transistor count, allowing manufacturers to add faster and more processing cores to graphics cards. Smaller nodes mean you can add more transistors onto VRAM while keeping its size the same. This means higher VRAM capacities at the same size and at lower power consumption. Type 1 GDDR. GDDR or graphics double data rate has long been the VRAM of choice for the graphics card industry, thanks to its similarity to DDR system memory, making it easier and cheaper to manufacture. Featuring 6 major and 2 minor revisions, GDDR saw massive improvements in transfer rates, the amount of data that can be sent or received per second, from the 5th generation onwards, with GDDR6 having double the transfer rate of GDDR5. Type 2 HBM. HBM or high bandwidth memory is a type of VRAM that employs stacked memory chips to achieve a smaller form factor than comparable GDDR memory. HBM is also more power efficient, thanks to the wide memory bus that helps it transfer data at lower clock speeds. However, with HBM memory modules being more expensive to manufacture, the memory is rarely employed in consumer GPUs, with AMD's Vega series being the only consumer graphics card to utilize it. Understanding the memory bus and bandwidth. While a sufficient amount of VRAM is crucial, your graphics card's performance will strongly depend on the graphics processor's memory bandwidth. The memory bandwidth depends on the type of memory used, memory bus width, memory clock, and cycles per clock. To make it easier to understand, you can imagine a line at the ticket counter. The memory bandwidth of the GPU is similar to the number of people that get their tickets in a fixed unit of time, say, a minute. The memory bus width here is the total number of ticket counters available, so the more, the better, whereas the memory clock can be thought of as the time taken by the cashier to print a single ticket, which remains fixed in our case. The VRAM is typically split into several memory modules in a graphics card, each having the same capacity. Each memory module will have a fixed number of lanes to the graphics processor. A lane is a trace on the graphics card PCB, with each one capable of transferring data simultaneously in both directions. So, if we take the example of the RTX 3080 with a 320-bit bus, we can calculate from the 10 GB of GDDR6X VRAM that with each module having a capacity of 1 GB, each will have 32 lanes to the graphics processor. Comparing this to the 192-bit bus of the RTX 3060 with 12 GB of GDDR6 memory, we see each 1 GB module being allocated only 16 lanes, which serves as a reminder that more VRAM may not always be better. The memory bus width is the total number of lanes from the processor to all the memory modules over which the memory can transfer the data. Higher performing cards usually employ a wider bus to achieve a higher memory bandwidth. The memory clock is another crucial factor at play while calculating the memory bandwidth. Having a higher memory clock increases the bandwidth and can compensate for a smaller memory bus in graphics cards. Simplified, the math would look something like this. Memory bandwidth equals memory bus width x memory clock speed. The bandwidth will limit how much of the memory your graphics card will utilize when under heavy loads. Remember that a higher memory bandwidth might not always guarantee increased performance, since the GPU's processing power to handle the data from the VRAM must also be considered. We will continue about GPU VRAM videos, please wait for it. We will discuss all area about VRAM. Thanks for watching.